Hello and welcome to the virtual groom. My name is Jack, your host, and today I'm bringing you a bit of a special shaving video. I won't be shaving with you right now. However, yesterday I recorded a cool video with a Kaimana Triska. He's a really cool guy, really knows his shit about straight razors. And yeah, he showed me some really useful tips and tricks. Probably helpful for any of you guys that are just getting into it, or maybe if you have been doing it for a while, he really does know his shit. I'll put his link in the description below. I really appreciate him coming to do this. He didn't have to, and he was more than willing to do so. So yeah, awesome video. Small disclaimer, the fact that it's based around internet connection because it was recorded via video call means the FPS, 1, isn't great. 2, I had half the screen that I was used to, so I was like kind of going off of the screen a little bit. If you can deal with that stuff, there's some good content in that video. Apart from that, it's coming up right now. Okay, I think we're recording right now.
Yep.
Everyone here would know me. Kai, introduce yourself. They should know you as well, to be honest, but yeah. If they don't.
Hey everybody, Kai Triska from my YouTube channel by the same name. Yeah, that's about it. Daily shaver for West Coast shaving and straight razor enthusiast, I guess.
Yeah, and I assume if people do know you, it's probably from the West Coast shaving stuff, right? Because you've been doing that for a while.
Probably, yeah. I think I've been a daily shaver for getting close to probably 9 months or so.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Yeah. What are you using?
So for today, going with my Max Brecker, so very similar to yours.
It is.
Pretty much the only difference is the tip.
Yeah.
Mine's a square instead of that barber's notch you got, but dark angel wing, and then I got some spine work. But aside from that, it's a midi as well, so 2.5 inches. I figured I'd use something similar to yours.
That's your preference as well, right? You prefer it?
Yeah. I love the shorter blade. To me, it's just a little bit more maneuverable.
Yeah.
So if you're a beginner, it's a good option just because you don't have this like big length of blade. So when you're trying to do sideburns or something, it's a little easier to see around instead of having this big whopping blade just like all the way in your eyes.
Well, I mean, 1/2 inch is actually pretty big if you think about it. Isn't the standard 3 inches? Am I wrong?
Most are like 2.85 to 2.75, I think.
I see.
So 2 3/4 to just a little bit over. So yeah, this one sits at 2.5, and then I do have another razor that also sits at 2 1/4. So
man, that's small.
Yeah, it's tiny.
It's pretty small. So something I noticed immediately, you have like this, I guess, a point.
Yeah.
What is the advantage? Is there any advantage there, or is it just cosmetic?
Aesthetics. It kind of helps with getting around like certain, like your mustache a little bit. That's how like the Spanish point gained popularity. People are doing their mustache area, but really it's mostly aesthetics and a little bit of adrenaline from the danger.
Yeah, I can kind of I guess relate to the adrenaline with the danger. Yeah. Whenever I've done it, it's funny because I think what is easy to I guess misinterpret is it's a pretty big blade. The cutting edge isn't very big though.
Oh no.
So
cutting edge is near microscopic. It's tiny compared to the rest.
And like, so a lot of people when they start this, I've noticed, will practice with a shavette.
Super different.
I agree. And I think most of the reason it's a fixed blade pretty much, right? The shavette. And in terms of the forgiveness with the amount of it's a huge difference.
Yeah. Like with the shavette, any type of pressure, any kind of wrong angle, just instantly just bites you. With a straight razor, you get a little bit more flex, a little bit less of a bitey edge. Like a lot of straight razor guys, they go for smooth, buttery edges. Yeah. So that really helps with that like aggressive feel. And you can play with pressure a little bit more. Like I never suggest using pressure, but if you do just maybe push a little, you're less likely to get irritation with the straight as opposed to a Chevette. So
yeah, and kind of judging from the previous shaves I've done with this, it's a thing where I'm almost certainly using shit technique, but I'm not being punished for it. When I think with a shavette, I probably would be.
Yeah, you'd have like a lot of irritation.
Yeah.
Maybe some nicks, maybe even a cut, depending on like if you just had a slightly too open angle and a little bit of pressure, it might just cut right into your face. So yeah, straight razors, definitely a little more forgiving. But if you come from Shavettes and try straight razors, I think that's the way to go, as opposed from straight razors to Shavettes, because I've done that. And I have a video on my channel, and it's bloody.
Really?
Yeah, it's really different. Like with a Shavette, you almost want to just use like you're from the UK, like that T grip, just the two fingers.
Yeah.
And yeah, so with the Shavette, you want to use like a super light grip because that helps you just kind of glide over, as opposed to a straight. You can kind of grab it and move it.
Yeah, I've seen a few people that I would say know how to shave pretty well use shavettes.
Oh, definitely.
That pretty much always happens. So
yeah.
I kind of commend anyone that knows how to use that thing properly because it looks pretty dangerous.
Yeah, I've seen just like a very few amount of people able to just like wield a Shavette and just go through shaves drama free.
Yeah.
Most guys that use them not super frequently, I guess. So it tends to get a little bitey.
My barber actually uses a shaver for the
most do
kind of lining up. That's pretty damn skillful. Like they
yeah, most barbers will use oh sorry.
Go ahead, man.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say most barbers use Shavettes because of like the cleanliness, not cleanliness, but just like the disinfecting rules.
Yeah.
You have to be able to completely disinfect a razor or anything. So most guys just think it's easier to just replace the blade rather than with the straight razor have to dip it in barbicide. And I think that would eventually corrode the straight razor anyway.
Probably would, man.
Yeah.
They keep doing it over and over again. So
exactly. For every customer, you have to dunk it. And, yeah, I think it's just too much of a hassle.
Yeah. Okay. What soap are you using?
Soap I'm going with is Grooming Department and La Chypre.
That's awesome. Fantastic. That's a good soap.
Oh, so good. And then I'm going with my Paladin Samurai Conflux Ebonite brush. This thing is awesome.
Man, that's a nice brush. What colors are that? Blues, greens.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's an ebonite, so that's how you get that pattern.
That's really nice.
Yeah, thank you.
The soap I'm using is I'm going to be using Pedro Fiasco. As far as like cologne dupes, this is the best I've ever smelled. Pretty easily as well. The brush I'm going to be using is a let me shake it out. Is a Grizzly Bay Manchurian fan. And
that's beautiful.
I'm using almost exactly the same razor as you are, pretty much.
Yeah.
But the smile, and that's pretty much it. You've got a bit more detailed spine work.
Yes.
And it looks insanely cool, by the way.
Oh, I mean, your razor's gorgeous too. I remember when you first showed me, I was like, that's where I wish I started.
I mean, kind of, I figured, why not take a plunge?
Yeah.
I think you'd be more inclined to, I guess, learn when taking a plunge, because I've seen a lot of people start it, and after they start it, it's almost like, well, I've not invested much money into this, so I can just sell this razor. To be honest, I could probably sell this one if I didn't like it very much, but
definitely,
it's almost an enjoyment thing, you know? Because if you buy something shit and you use something shit, you're probably going to be less inclined to enjoy the overall experience. So
I agree.
So something that is apparent to me when I watch videos as well is you have a pretty interesting lathering technique. Like you don't splay the brush very much on your face. You're primarily a painter, right?
Kind of. I spray at the beginning a lot, but kind of once I work it up to where I want it, I mostly just paint and add a lot of water.
Yeah.
What I'm looking for in my lathers is not a lot of volume and just a lot of slickness and hydration.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think when I shave with a double edge, you know, that's the primary way I shave. I'm going for a thick, voluminous lather because frankly, I'd say that's a bit more intuitive as opposed to consistently hydrating something and carry on doing it. But I'm gonna try the other way and kind of see how that goes because like every time I've done this thus far, the lather I've used hasn't been, I guess, slick enough. So we'll kind of see how that goes.
Yeah. What I always say is add enough water to the point where you think it's just about to break. Like you want it right on the cusp of overly hydrated because that way you know you've got enough.
And I guess the volume isn't really what's helping you. It's the slickness you're creating with hydrating it that much.
Yeah, you're not really looking for so much protection and cushion. Mostly because like if you just come down the wrong angle with that blade, there's nothing all the cushion in the world is going to do for you.
Yeah.
So cushion isn't really what you're primarily looking for. I mean, is it nice? Yeah, it's nice, but it's not the number one.
No, and I guess, if it's a kind of, as we've spoken about before, if the lather is, I guess, more versatile, you should probably do it that way anyway, right?
Definitely, yeah. That's why I like the products I like. I know I can really stretch the water bands with those and not have to worry about it breaking.
And I have actually found like a lot of the soaps that you tend to primarily use really, really high water tolerance.
Yes.
Like the Excelsiors. Yeah, I have really noticed. And I can see why, to be honest. It helps that they're fantastic soaps generally, but it just happens that they can take a lot of water. So it makes a big difference.
Yeah, the nice thing about Excelsior though is if it's your kind of first time straight razor shaving and you underhydrate it, it'll still perform. Like I've noticed Excelsior is honestly probably the easiest base I've ever used to kind of dial in and get it ready for a shave.
Yeah.
Like the water band on it is just insane. Like you can add a minimal amount of water and still get an excellent amount of slickness, but you can just dump water into it and it still holds. And I mean, you can really just max out slickness with that stuff. So
yeah, and I'd say the A&E/club base is pretty similar.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Peter makes some of the best sellers.
He does, and best scents as well, in my opinion.
I completely agree. That's why, like, to me, Excelsior, I mean, it's better in a very small way, but I just love Peter's scents so much that it just puts it over Excelsior for me.
Yeah, and I can see why. What are your favorite scents by them?
Well, there's a scent that I made. I have the Aftershave right here, but it was a limited edition with Peter. This stuff is amazing. We're doing another one, but it's going to be a different scent. But I really love that one. Asian Plum, Signature, Grecian Horse, London. I was talking to you about London, the black, the tea and currant. Oh, that one.
I actually ordered that.
Currant. Yeah.
I actually kind of, the thing is, like, I have a few like soaps by them, but with the club membership, you get such a good discount from his products.
Insane discount.
You should pretty much own most of them if you have that discount, I think, because they're all really, really good. And even if you don't like the scent, like if it's not your favorite scent, the soap's performance is like some of the best you're gonna find.
Yeah.
So for me, this is pretty well hydrated, but I don't know how it's gonna fare. I guess we'll see. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in like trying to dry off the base of your neck right there.
Yeah.
Because at least the way I skin stretch, I like to stretch from the bottom. So you just gotta find what works best for you. Some guys, when they skin stretch and they do their cheeks, they like to stretch from their jawline and pull up and shave down that way. And then I like to grab from here and shave down this way. It just works a little bit better for me.
So the thing that I found that hinders me quite a bit is the ability to see. Because if you're trying to line up sideburns, for example, you're kind of here. This is in front of your face, and it's directly impeding your view to the mirror, like in front of you.
Yeah. Using like a slight angle might work a little bit better for you.
Okay.
Or what I like to do is I just keep the razor above my sideburn and then just bring it down until I stop seeing it, and then put it down there.
Okay, let's try that.
Yeah. And then I'm sure you know about like skin stretching and everything like that.
Yeah.
What I would recommend is if you're trying to line up your sideburns, line them up first. Just do like a small little stroke, and then proceed to skin stretch. Because if you notice, if you pull this and you line your sideburn up to maybe a certain part of your ear, you're now pulling the sideburn higher than you normally would.
Yeah, that's
so
actually.
You might line it up incorrectly. So the good old Geo Fat Boy clear the runways. And then I don't know if you noticed, but I don't skin stretch on my first pass.
No.
It's something that kind of comes with technique. Once you get a little more used to it, you'll kind of know where the flat parts of your face are and how to manipulate the blade in order to do that. Definitely for now, though, I'd recommend like sticking with the skin stretching. So yeah, I'll just get going so I can watch you.
Man, the ability to like if you overhydrate the lather, like this lather compared to the other ones I've had, there's a different story. It could be the soap, because I've shaved with a Calvin Still, and I actually did shave with the Janus base from Grooming Department, which is also very good.
Could have hydrated that a little bit more.
Okay, so if I try and tackle this side of my face here.
Yeah, what I like to do for my cheeks, this area right there, is I like to put some air into it. So,
like, inflate it.
Helps give a flatter surface.
And would you still be stretching your skin while doing that?
I don't like to stretch because the only way to stretch this part is to go right in front of your eye.
Yeah.
So I just think just puff the cheeks, and I think that's enough. Very nice.
Man, that soap is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So, biggest challenge I've had is around the mustache. And I know there's like a curling technique you use, don't you?
That's just for the middle. That's for the very middle. So I'll come in right here, and I'll just roll it down. Yeah, are you using your right hand or left hand right now?
Right.
Yeah, so just go like here. So stick with your normal grip, and then just go, so flip it around. Yeah, right there. and then just, roll it down. Light touch.
Yeah.
Very nice. Right there.
Cool.
And then kind of same thing for the side. Just kind of go right under the nostril and then just roll it down.
Yeah.
There you go.
It works.
And then just use the use kind of the mid or the toe of the blade to do that little bit right beneath.
So like here, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, right there. Just like that, and then just bring it down. Yep. Perfect.
Man, that works pretty damn well.
Could use more water.
So something I've noticed, a huge difference in the way, I guess, people that primarily use straight razors shave is you intentionally won't go over the same spot once. And you will clear, and you won't do any buffing over the same spots. I found that people almost abuse the safety of a safety razor.
Yeah.
And will just keep.
Yeah. Yeah, I do very minimal buffing. Like if you watch me do this right here, I just really go 1, 2, and then 3. Like, and that's about it. So I'll come here, do the sideburn a little.
Man,
that's about it.
The strokes are so clean.
Yeah, that so doing longer strokes is definitely a little bit more difficult. You don't really want to do the same thing like a DE though and kind of paw the same area. But if you can just kind of work your way down, maybe like 3 strokes down, I think that would be optimal. Yeah, so if you grip a little bit closer to your sideburn, like all the way over, right there we go. That's a good pull. Yeah, there we go. That's a good stroke.
Yeah, okay. It's funny because I think it's something you're generally not willing to do, but it's actually an easier way of shaving. Need to grab that. Just inflate the cheek.
Yeah, so puff the cheek up.
Okay. And then the same thing with the mustache here.
Yeah, so very nice. Yeah, just roll it down. Yeah, make sure you're kind of rolling it, so don't get too aggressive on the angle. Yeah, you want to make sure you're coming back to that 30.
Like you're starting at the more obtuse angle because you have to, but you're getting more and more acute as you go down. It makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah, then just use the mid or the toe to finish off right there.
Okay.
Yeah. Luckily, you don't have to do what I consider the hardest part, which is the chin.
Yeah. Sprecher, Max told me that as well. So he said you're kind of lucky that you don't need to do the chin.
Yeah, chin is definitely the hardest. Because for the chin, because you have that extreme change in angle, you really gotta roll that blade. So.
Okay, what would you recommend for the neck here? So the growth of my hair is almost diagonally that way. So with the grain would be going that way.
Yeah, so what I tend to do is I'll pull this way, and then the razor will kind of move. You can't go directly with the grain, but try to just get it as much as you can. Just kind of get it at that angle. Yeah, right. Yeah, like that. Looking good.
Okay, I can see what you're doing. It's a bit harder because it's more of like an angled surface.
Yeah.
But I can see what you're doing there.
My hair grows the same way. That's why actually when it hits my jawline right here, it grows directly to my ears.
Me too.
Yeah, so it actually doesn't even grow downwards. It grows straight horizontal.
Me too. It's kind of like this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly the same, which is kind of weird, but. Okay, so the most sensitive part is my lower neck. It's like pretty damn sensitive. And I don't really know what angle to attack that on because it grows pretty much the same way. So I'm just going to go for it pretty much as you said and kind of see how that turns out.
Yeah, and then with the preceding passes, if it's really sensitive, just kind of when you're going with an upward stroke, just kind of skip that area, go up, and then when you're done going up, just go back over and just go with the grain again. No point in causing any irritation or anything. No. Just leave it with the grain. That looks good. Looks good.
Okay, that was a bit easier than I thought on that side.
Yeah, and then if you have areas that you're having trouble getting, try. So what I do is instead of just pulling my skin straight down, I'll maybe push it to maybe, like if you have any areas that are hollow, like kind of concave, just push the skin to move it into a more flat area.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So for me, it's right under my jaw right here, right by my neck. I'll pull this area to make it flatter, make it easier for me to get. Yeah, very nice.
Again, it's much more convenient to start with a razor of this quality because...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I completely agree. Yeah, so for under the neck, I'd suggest just going with the same grip, thumb facing you. Just because when you're trying to get someplace like this is really uncomfortable. So yeah, doing that is just a little more, it makes it easier to manipulate the blade.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
And then if you're like me, and it's kind of sensitive around here, just remember as you're coming down, use that same kind of rolling motion as you get closer to your Adam's apple. That way you're not using too open of an angle. Oh, remember, other way. Oh, yeah. There we go. Yeah, so just kind of use that same rolling motion you did under your nose as you get closer to your Adam's apple.
That will suffice, I think.
Yeah.
That will suffice for now. Okay. Let me lather up again.
Yeah. And then so I do with the grain, cross grain, and then against the grain.
So even with a DE, I won't go against the grain. Like I don't even try. I can if I'm shaving, kind of like if I'm not shaving every day. But I found that generally works better for me, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, you just do what works for you. You don't need to mimic exactly what I'm doing.
So the cross grain pass for me, I think is also fairly similar to you. It's kind of like that way, and then towards the nose, and I kind of go diagonally upwards here and here.
Yeah, what I'd say for your neck is maybe do another with the grain pass, and then for your last pass, then do an upward stroke.
Okay.
That might be a little bit better if your neck is sensitive. So yeah, so for my cross grain pass, I kind of do that same rolling motion by my ear. So I'll come in at like more of a almost perpendicular angle and roll the blade in.
Okay. I see. And again, you're getting more and more acute as you get in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And then important thing with across the grain and any against the grain work, you want to use a much more acute angle than you do on the first pass. So the first pass, you're looking at something like 30 degrees or so. For the cross grain and against the grain passes, you're looking more at like, just basically you almost want to lay the razor so that the spine is touching your skin and then just bring it off. And that's the kind of angle you want to be using.
Right. So in terms of skin stretching here, what would you generally recommend?
So for the initial cut, I pull my ear back. So that stretches the skin by your sideburn. Yeah, and then once you kind of make a little room, then I put my fingers down and I stretch my cheeks while keeping them puffed also. Yeah, very nice.
So let's go down again.
Yeah, so down again. Yeah, right there. Yeah, so yeah, just make that initial clearing area, and then once you get like that cleared, yeah, then pull the skin on your cheeks.
Okay.
Shave. Could probably stop right there, actually.
Okay, so if you were to go like cross grain on your mustache area, how would you do that? So would you still do the like inwards thumb technique almost? Kind of like that?
So I come right here. Let me just grab my razor real quick. So what I do is I'll come right here, do that same thing. But for me, this little part, the part where my where the lips meet and it kind of dips in a little, that part's really hard for me to bring the razor across without like doing something weird. So what I do is I go till my nostrils right here, leave myself a little Hitler stash, and then I go straight down.
Okay.
Yeah, so just go until about the nose line. Yeah, stop right there.
And then would you take both with your right hand, or would you switch again?
I'm completely left-right hand, yeah. I always switch per side of my face.
That'll do. It's funny because using the left hand, I feel almost completely crippled using my left hand.
Super understandable. Oh, other way.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I completely agree. When I first started, I kind of used Anthony Esposito's technique. So I would go left hand, right hand on the first pass, and for the cross the grain and against the grain, I would only use my right hand. And when I first started using my left hand, I cut myself a lot.
Yeah.
It would do like awkward things just because it's uncoordinated, you know, kind of like trying to write with your left hand, I guess.
Yeah.
It just feels really weird. But you just keep doing it. Just do things you're comfortable with, and eventually it just gains more and more coordination. And then you just keep doing it, and eventually it just really becomes muscle memory. And then once you kind of get past muscle memory, it kind of can do other things you may not be too familiar with. Like, I change my technique up every now and then, and my left hand has no problem adjusting. So it's just gained more and more coordination as I've used it. But you just got to stick with it. Like, even though it feels weird and you don't like it and stuff like that, like, I just pushed through it and worked out well.
Well, I mean, I guess everyone went through the same thing if they started using DEs and stuff, right? So
yeah, exactly.
I remember how weird that felt at the time. So, so with an upwards pass, would you almost would you cross it? It makes sense, right? Okay.
Yeah, but I'd suggest just going down one more time, just to kind of save the neck.
Okay.
Especially if that's an area of irritation for you. Just while you're starting out, just do 2 passes with, and then for the last pass, you can try an upward stroke. And if you're doing it and it doesn't feel too good, just do a 3rd pass downwards, and then just try to work on it. You know, just do what you can, and then as your skills progress, obviously, you know, you'll be more comfortable with the razor. So yeah, there's no rush to like do a perfect 3-pass shave right off the bat. Like, if you just need to do like 2 passes and a cleanup with your DE, like, you know, that's cool too.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is kind of lather up again and do a bit of cleanup with the double-edged razor.
Yeah.
So, but no, like the general approach, what you've just shown me there, made a lot of things that I initially found difficult to reach much easier.
Yeah, definitely. Having someone kind of walk you through stuff is always a little bit nicer than just trying to watch YouTube and figure it out on your own.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially if like you're right in front of me, watching me doing like what I'm doing, and you know, guiding me from there. So it really helps.
For sure.
Something else I'll ask as well. What are you doing with the razor in between passes? Because what I've got here is like a microfiber cloth.
Yep. So I have a towel that just sits on my counter that I set the razor down on, and then I also have like a cloth, and I'll wipe down the razor because you want to keep that dry. Water is really the enemy of carbon steel.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised how quickly you can get watermarks on a blade.
Yeah.
And so what I'll do is I'll wipe it down in between passes, and then as I'm lathering and rinsing, I'll set the towel on the razor just to keep any kind of water from splashing on it. Because the worst place you can get water is in this hinge right there.
Yeah.
Because you can't dry that.
No.
Unless you either blow dry it or you take apart the razor, which is not recommended at all.
Okay, so the D seems a bit more natural to me. To be honest, on my face, there's nothing to get, so it's pretty much just the neck.
Yeah, Max's edges really just destroy hair. You could probably get by with a 2-pass shave, to be honest.
Yeah, just the face is almost completely clean, which is kind of insane. Well, I've got to show the camera. I'm using the stainless steel Christopher Bradley razor.
Do you have the brass carve as well?
I do, yes.
Is there a noticeable difference, just out of curiosity, between the two, or just mostly aesthetics?
I found the way the bead blasting takes to the stainless makes it marginally smoother, but I'd be kind of biased. I actually work for the company.
Oh,
so.
Cool.
Yeah, that feels so much better than my first couple of shaves. It's just the right guidance. The honestly, the kind of like inner angle with the mustache made it so much easier. So I was trying to curve kind of that way, and it's just not easy at all. So, how long would you say it took you to get kind of like I guess comfortable with going like with against across?
Well, I did that everybody recommends 30 days straight of straight razors.
Yeah.
And for me, that really did make a big difference. And I highly recommend doing that to anybody thinking about straight razors.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a full-on 3-pass straight razor shave. It can be something like what you just did. You use the razor for 2 passes, and then you clean up. Or, I mean, you could even use a razor for your sideburns and cheeks and clean up, do the rest of your shave with the DE. It's just about getting that straight razor in your hand and getting comfortable and familiar with like the angles of your face. Because that's another thing where DEs, I feel, kind of give you a little more forgiveness, is angles, especially like right here along the jawline, that mustache area that we were doing.
Oh, huge. Way more.
Yeah, the DE, as long as you're not like overly open with your angle, you can kind of mess up a little with that angle and still be okay.
Yeah.
But straight, if you come in too steep and you're cut. So
yeah. The curve is incredibly important, basically. Well, I mean, it's basic geometry, the difference in angles, and if you're coming in with an extremely obtuse angle, you're basically just slicing your face. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you can tell. This is the angle that I'm using. If you can see with the scales, this is the angle I'm using on this against the grain pass. It's almost flat to my face.
Isn't that called like the idiot's pass or something? Something like that.
The fool's pass.
The fool's pass, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody calls it the fool's pass, and I think that gives people a little bit of intimidation factor.
Oh, no.
But really, as long as it's a controlled stroke, there's no risk of anything.
That's what I was going to say.
Watch the edge, because I think the more likely than getting your nose is getting your upper lip right here, going like that, and putting the blade down a little too early and catching the end of the lip. So, but aside from that, it's fairly like almost nothing.
You're actively flattening the surface, right? So, yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, after that shave, I didn't really need to finish it with a DE. It was at a level where I would generally be happy. I mean, I work from home. I don't need to go into an office all day, so it's not particularly really important that I'm always completely clean shaven.
Gotcha.
But no, like just the small bits of guidance you've shown me, more so the way to attack certain angles, I think is the thing that's more difficult to pick up by yourself.
Yeah, definitely, because when you're watching a video, you don't really see like some of the nuances that people are doing, and like maybe even if they're trying to instruct, you know, there's some things that people just do naturally that maybe they don't even realize they're doing. So it can be hard to pick that up too. So like that thing I said about like maybe moving a part of your neck like with skin stretching, some people don't even touch on that because they might do it just intuitively, you know?
Yeah, and they're not I guess they're not realizing they're doing it. It's just how they've always done it. So, I mean, overall, that really isn't bad at all. So, yeah, that's a extremely high quality razor. It would be.
Oh, yeah, you really can't go wrong with anything from Max. And you know, like I feel like people always have this kind of fear of larger razors when they're starting off. And I mean, like, you know, this is your first razor. You got 8/8s?
Yeah.
What do you think?
The only place I could see it being any different are kind of places like this. When you have to do the curve, it's just at a smaller angle. I think it's the difference between starting with like if you're going to put it in safety razor terms, starting with a slightly more, I guess, efficient razor than like a D89 or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, cutting edges can't be too different based on the size of the razor, you know? So it's pretty big, but I've not noticed any detrimental, I guess, effects from it being too big at all.
Yeah. Do you watch Dr. Matt?
The Daily Shaver, right?
He's a straight razor shaver. He does a lot of straight razor honing videos and stuff like that.
No.
Oh, he's really good. You should search him up. I'll send you a video after we're done. But he pointed out something that I really liked, where he said that with a larger razor, you have more give on the angle you're using.
Yeah.
Because with a larger razor, if you're just maybe a little more open, it doesn't affect that angle as much as if you have a smaller razor, like maybe a 5/8 or 4/8.
Yeah.
But if you open that angle a little bit more, now it's really open.
Yeah, so, I can see what you're saying, especially, I guess another aspect, just generally because of the metal mass, it's going to be a little bit heavier, right? So I think it encourages you early on to apply correct pressure.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess that would help too. I'm going to do the post shave, and my post shave is I'm going to use the matching splash.
I already put mine on. I used Vide Poach, I don't know how to say it, from Shavealong Lux, because unfortunately NY Sheepra has no splash or post shave, and
it would be nice.
Bummer. That's a great scent. I really like it. Vide Poach is another good one though. If you like florals like that, unfortunately it was an LE, so you'll have to like BST it somehow.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. It's got this like nice strong freesia on the front, and yeah, it's just really nice.
I have the NY Sheepra, a beautiful soap. It's it's funny because little bits of irritation here, but that's expected. It's a floral. Like I don't really like extremely strong forward floral scents. He's done something with that scent that's incredibly unique. It's like a spicy floral. I guess it's a Sheepra, right? But it's his own take on it. It's really good. For me, it's by far the best smelling grooming department soap I've used.
Oh, yeah.
I have the citric soap as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like woody lemon. It's pretty nice, but yeah. Okay. It's been 48 minutes. That's probably the longest video that's going to be uploaded, so that's okay. I really appreciate you kind of coming to show me these things. Yeah. Anyone that hasn't seen any of Kai's videos, I will put your channel down below. You upload extremely frequently, don't you? I've noticed.
For the brush reviews, I was uploading pretty frequently. I might try and dial it back to like once or twice a week now. But Yeah, I try it once or twice a week.
And if they can't watch you on your channel, you are a daily shaver for West Coast Shaving. That's where I first saw your videos anyway. So.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, as I said, appreciate it, and I guess we're gonna check out now.
Sounds good.
No problem, man. See you guys.